Hey guys, it's Russ, Pilates guy, and just want to talk to you about a conversation I had very recently with one of my members, and it's a conversation I actually have really regularly. It's also something that I brought up in my video, the exact steps I took to beat back pain and go back to weightlifting and rugby. If you want to know about video, I will plug it at the end of this video, but there I go really into depth as to how I recovered from back pain and was able to start weightlifting again and playing rugby again. The conversation I had the other day was about a runner with an Achilles problem, and we were discussing can't run at all at the moment, very frustrated. This is a guy who runs miles and miles cross country, up hills, all weather, trails, quite significant mileage, doing quite easily cruising through 10-mile runs. Been suffering with this Achilles issue for quite some time. We were talking and he feels like if you go for a run and it's like a mile or two, it's totally pointless, like why bother? Because he's used to doing some decent mileage. And I totally get that. When I started going back to the gym, I used to feel a bit like, what's the point in going to these light weights? Like I don't even find it physically challenging. But what we've got to remember is that if we've had some time off or we've had an injury, as much as your body might be capable of doing more than a 1 mile run or lifting some very light weights or whatever it might be, your injured area and your compensatory movement patterns and things like that might not be ready for more. And unless we're willing to build from the ground up again, slowly, patiently, gradually teaching the body to adapt, you're never going to recover. You're going to keep getting recurrence of injury and things like that. If I have a flare-up, so I recently had a bit of a knee issue back in July, made a stupid decision on running actually, and it's a long story, I won't bore you with it, but I had a bit of a knee issue when I was squatting a few days after this run that I decided to do, and I strained my knee. And it took me from July until September to fully recover and get back to where I was. So I didn't drop all the way down to the bottom, but I significantly reduced the weight. I dropped like over a third off the weights that I was doing and started to slowly build up again. Basically, I dropped back down to 100 kilos and had to slowly build back up to squatting 150, 5x5 training. But I had to just be dead patient, and it's exactly the same. I applied this whenever I have an injury now. Just applying kind of like progressive overload, but applying it to when we've got an injury as well, starting small. If you've got an Achilles issue that you're gradually recovering, don't just go and run 10 miles because it feels okay. Start and just do a little, like a mile, or do around the block, or do a run walk for like a few K, 3K or something, and then do 5, and then slowly build up. And I would suggest, find a level that is okay and doesn't aggravate. Do that 2 or 3 times. Add a tiny bit more on. If that was, you did 3K, it was great. All right then, do 3.5, 4K. Do 4.5, then 5K. Do each of those levels 2 or 3 times and gradually get your body back into it again. You will recover much more quickly doing this than you will either doing totally nothing or by trying to just fly through it and get back to where you were really quickly. I have done this time and time again with myself. It was a massive adjustment for me because I always just wanted to get straight back to rugby, straight back to lifting heavier weights, straight back to running or whatever else it was. And I speak to so many people who have exactly the same mindset. They're frustrated, they're a million miles from where they were, but I would always say, you can either treat it patiently, start at the bottom and slowly build back up, and that way you will be able to get back to where you were, or you can just try and jump ahead, get straight back to where you were without building back up, and that's almost going to guarantee you won't be able to do that anymore. Hopefully that has been somewhat useful to somebody suffering with an injury or pain. Always listen to your physios, your doctors and whatever else, as long as they're decent. As long as they've got a plan for you to get active again as soon as possible, then listen to their advice. What I will say is one of the great things about Pilates is you can pretty much, with most injuries and things going on, build some level of Pilates into your routine, which is going to help you recover quite quickly. So if you are a runner who can't run at the moment, you might want to consider bringing yourself to a Pilates session to just start to enhance your mobility and strength and get your body moving and keep active, probably help you recover more quickly, probably benefit your running in the long run. Because of its low impact nature, you're very unlikely to aggravate injuries as long as you listen to your body and adapt things as necessary. And if you want to ask me any questions, I'll be more than happy to share my experience. My details are all in the description, so please feel free to give me a shout. I'd love to hear from you either in the comments or please get in touch with me directly, and I'll speak to you again soon.